Hi, I'm Cheryl Sherry, and today I'm going to show you how to make sauerkraut. It's really important that we include some probiotic containing foods in our diet on a daily basis. Use good quality organic ingredients where possible, because pesticides affect the quality of the food and they kill the good bacteria which is needed for fermentation. Peel the outer layer of the cabbage and set it aside. This will be used later to help prevent mould from entering the sauerkraut. So what we want to do is just first of all cut it in half, cut the cabbage in half, and you want to just get this little bit of a core out. So I'm just going to cut that out of the cabbage. I don't really like to waste any part of it, so sometimes I just slice that up and very thin and put it into the sauerkraut. Start packing it into the jar. So put some in to begin with, and then before you go too far you want to start packing it down. Now you can just use your hands if you want to. So this is how I started. I just started by, when I started making sauerkraut, I was just using my hand, but I did actually get a local craftsman to make me one of these, and you can purchase these online, sauerkraut stompers, and then you can just pack it down like this. So we're trying to get the air out, so it's the lack of air that causes the fermentation process. And the water's starting to form in this now because the salt is extracting the juices. I've used a variety of ingredients in this version, but you can, if you wish, use just cabbage and salt. In fact, cabbage can be fermented even without salt. Now, salt does add flavour and it extracts the juice, and if you choose not to use salt, you'll need to add water to cover the cabbage. And if you don't use salt, it would be preferable to use cabbage from a known source, such as your own garden, and refrain from washing it. The natural bacteria will promote fermentation, and this is known as a wild ferment. But you can just see how much liquid is in there. I told you at the beginning that I was going to be saving this outer part of the cabbage, And what I'm going to do with this now is cover the top of the sauerkraut so that if anything does get mouldy because it's been exposed to the air, it's going to be this top piece. And that's the bit that we can throw away. So our precious sauerkraut underneath isn't going to get affected. So the next thing, again, there's just some options here that we can use. Now, what I'm going to do in this situation is just add a weight to it. Just another jar that I can just pop on top, like that. And on a daily basis, if I want to, I can just use this as the weight to press it down and extract any air. So I'm going to press this now. I'm going to pop it into the sink because when I press it, some water is going to come out the top. And as long as it is submerged in water, that's all I care about at this point. There's options here, so that's one thing you could do. The other thing you could do is, as long as you keep it submerged in water, you could just do one of these makeshift little fermentation lids. You can actually buy these as well. I made this one, and I'm not going to use it again because I've used it once and you can see it's got a little bit rusty underneath, so I'm not going to use it. But what you would do is you would just have, this is used typically for wine making, and it's got water in it, and it's really fun to have actually because you can see, as the product's fermenting, you can see the air bubbles go through. So you would just literally sit that on top and then put the ring around it to fasten it on, and that would keep it airtight and then it wouldn't go mouldy. I have done that before and it was very successful. This time I'm just going to use this method, put this weight on. So the weight is helping to keep the sauerkraut packed and the juice on top. Okay, and then you do want to just prevent any dust going in there, so I'm just going to cover it with a piece of cheesecloth and an elastic band. Really, I'm showing you this method because it just shows you how easy it is to make the sauerkraut and how accessible it is. You really don't need any special equipment, as this shows you. So all we've got here is a couple of mason jars, one slots inside the other. We've got some cheesecloth. No fancy ingredients are necessary, just cabbage is all you need, and an elastic. Sauerkraut, as I say, has so many beneficial properties. It's really important that we include some probiotic containing foods in our diet on a daily basis. You can watch my videos on kefir and on kombucha, which are some other options. You can make other fermented vegetables, so just be adventurous. Please just share your comments. Since recording that video, I've invested in some simple, inexpensive equipment to make the process more efficient, and I haven't made any sauerkraut for this part of the video, so I'm just going to explain the process and show you the tools. This glass weight keeps the vegetables submerged under the juice, and it promotes the anaerobic environment that's needed for fermentation. After inserting the weight, ensure that the surface of the lid and the top of the jar are free from moisture and debris, as that can interfere with the seal. And then put the top on. Apply the ring, and then place the pump, which fits snugly over the valve. Pumping becomes more resistant as the vacuum intensifies, and your goal is to remove most of the air bubbles from the liquid. Over the next 2 to 5 weeks, the gases will slowly excrete through the escape valve, and feel free to pump it again after a few days to speed up the process. The vacuum causes the seal to tighten, and therefore to remove the lid you need to press the valve to the side, and you'll hear it hiss as the gas is released. These silicone lids can also be used for sauerkraut, and again you would place a weight on top of the cabbage. Because there's no pump, it can be a slower process, but the gases will escape from the valve. I like to use these for making kombucha. The valve allows for a slow release of gases, preventing the jar from exploding. I love these two systems. I purchased them from Amazon, and they really clean up and simplify the fermentation process. So thanks for watching, and do keep in touch.